Yesterday, the Trump Media Group announced their plans to raise $3 billion to buy some more Bitcoin and crypto, and today they announced a $2.5 billion Bitcoin plan. In today's video, we'll be discussing exactly this and looking at the most important levels for the Bitcoin chart, and man oh man did we ever have some excellent trades. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. One of the reasons why I enjoy crypto so much is because you can make a ton of money whether the market goes up or down. Now, I will admit that this wasn't for experienced traders. However, we made profit on almost every single Bitcoin long and almost every single Bitcoin short. If we take a look at my account here are some of the trades over the past few days. Right before I recorded this video, I saw that Bitcoin was about to break out and likely target the Monday highs, which of course led me to go and enter a massive Bitcoin long. We cashed out $20,000 in profits, and then we also had another huge play in the community, LDO, where I also made $2,000. Then I was also shorting the market when we went ahead and formed this wick for the Monday high, targeting this lower region. And as you can see here, we made tens of thousands of dollars shorting this market as well. Now, currently, Bitcoin is trying to hold above the Monday high. I'll show you some more detailed charts shortly, but as you can see here, my floating P&L on the side is around $1,800. It's very volatile because it's a pretty big position, but I am confident in saying that Bitcoin will likely move at the bare minimum back into the 109K region, and on these quick trades, we can make a lot of profits. And before we start looking at the news and the Bitcoin charts, if you want to trade as I do, you have the first link in my description down below, which brings you directly to Bluffin. You can earn a 15% bonus cashback, which allows you to actually earn up to $5,000 free in your Bluffin account. Of course, you need to make that deposit, but this is free money to trade with. That is the first link in my description down below. You also have weeks where you can get some insane bonuses, up to $30,000 in rewards, a 20% deposit bonus, but this one is capped at $400, and the first 100 users that sign up with my week's link are eligible for up to $100 for free. Now let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart and try to dissect what just happened. So you can see here that I have painted out the Monday high all the way up here where we formed this nasty wick, and the Monday low, which we went ahead and breached on that Bitcoin short that I just showed you. So now that we got another massive pump to the upside, is this going to be the confirmation for us to go much, much higher? I actually like trading these ranges because I can make a lot of money doing so. However, I'm still not convinced that this is the magical breakout that will send us to aggressive all-time highs past $112,000. To me, as I said, my bias is still a little bit bearish. However, we cannot neglect the fact that we did hold this level as support on the 1 hour time frame. Now, if I take a look at the 4 hour time frame, it paints very much the same picture. We blasted above it and then we held it as support, which led us to make this massive pump that we're currently in. That being said though, daily confirmations will really be key here. If we close the daily candle like this, it is game over for the bears and Bitcoin will be moving much, much higher. And I am more than happy to trade this price action, especially in my community. That reminds me as well, sorry for shilling so much, but if you want to join my community, you have the third link in my description down below. You can copy and paste a lot of the signals that we put out for free. All that's required is that you go ahead and sign up with my affiliate link and then you make a minimum deposit. I'll see you inside. And just a quick glimpse of what it looks like. We share signals on a daily basis and we've been absolutely printing. Over the past few days, I think we've had 5 signals and 4 of them played out. 1 of them hit break even. So members are printing in this community. If you want to join again, that is the third link in my description down below. Okay, now let's get back to the content. So taking a look at the Bitcoin chart, as I said, if we can hold above here on the daily time frame, it is looking extremely bullish for Bitcoin. To me, however, because I'm seeing that a lot more people are currently longing this market compared to shorts, I still think that a pullback can be possible, especially on the smaller time frames. That's why I think that there is a chance that we come back down and break below this level once again, which is the previous all-time high. It was never going to be an easy area to continuously hold. Sure, over here we made that all-time high, exploded past it, but as soon as we got some kind of rejection, this was the most important area. So right now, as we continue to chop around this level, we had our fun here below that level, shorting here. However, now that we're trying to chop above, this could be the confirmation that goes ahead and sends us higher. Until we get that daily confirmation, I'm not willing to say that, hey, the new all-time high is imminent. However, this is starting to look very, very good, and there's so many opportunities to make money in this market at this point. One of the guys that is struggling to make money is the Bitcoin whale that we've been talking about. This guy, as I said in my previous video, is a degenerate gambler. The reason I'm bringing him up again is because he opened another position and he did not have an excellent entry. He started longing Bitcoin at around $110,000, and he actually closed half of his position at a loss yesterday because I think he was stressed out about losing money. Right now, though, he is finally sitting at $2 million in unrealized P&L. Let's see if this plays out past all-time highs and this guy can actually make a solid amount of money once again. But you can see all the way to the right here, his liquidation level is right below $109,000. Guys, it does not take much for Bitcoin to go right below $109,000. Ultimately, you would be retesting this area. And if we look at it from a percentage standpoint, at the time of recording this video, from there all the way down to here, that is literally less than a 2% move in Bitcoin to touch his liquidation price. And it's funny to see the movements with his wallets because he actually said he was going to stop trading on chain and he actually moved $5 million to Binance. But he's no quitter. He put it back on chain and kept gambling. He is now long $800 million of Bitcoin. He also came out and said, the swings have been insane recently. We started this account with approximately $3 million and at one point ran it up to $100 million. Currently still sitting in a whopping $13 million profit. You can't expect to not have huge swings when gambling around on 40x leverage. However, as I like to say, the comeback is always greater than the setback. I survived a razor-thin liquidation today. I believe I'm about to run this account back to $100 million, double time, full throttle. The haters will be in despair. The winners will be inspired. Let's fucking go. Now, what he's referring to here is the price of Bitcoin actually did get even closer to his liquidation price because as he opened his position yesterday, his liquidation level was sitting actually right around $107,500. And as you can see on this chart, look where the wick went. $107,560. He was inches away from getting liquidated before shifting his position. Now he is in profit, but let's see how it plays out because if this was just a sweep of the Monday high, perhaps this is the reaction that we will get that will fuel Bitcoin a little bit lower, as I have been saying on the channel. But once again, if we continue to hold 109.5K as support on the higher time frames, I will be going max long. But for now though, if we take a look at my cheeky position that I just entered, it is currently sitting at around $6,000 in profit because I went ahead and shorted, as you can see the little arrow here on the chart. Ultimately, this game is not as difficult as you think it may be. So if you want to trade like me, make sure you sign up with the links in my description down below, get onboarded to an exchange and join my community. I promise it will be worth your while. Now, let's take a look at some of the other things that I want to point out in this video, and that is USDT dominance. We haven't talked about this in a while. What you can see here is that we did break this very important trend line, and breaking this trend line does mean that Bitcoin has the fuel to move higher. What we can see here is that this trend line has been holding since all the way back towards the end of September, and every single time that we come close to this trend line, we end up getting a rejection, which sends Bitcoin much, much lower. However, when we break this trend line, it is the most bullish possible thing. Now, could this just be a fake out on the weekly? We'll have to see. With these kinds of charts, as I said, I always like to really zoom out. And yes, this is the weekly chart, but if I click on the monthly, we can see that maybe this is starting to get bought up a little bit. And if we were to go in this direction to the upside for USDT dominance, that would mean that Bitcoin would finally have that more severe correction. However, though, if we continue to close below this level, that would fuel Bitcoin much higher. And what you want to look for here is the tops and the bottoms. Over here, we got that 49K bottom back last summer, and we had the March 2024 74K top when we held this level as support. Then in January of 2025, it was the 109K top where we came back down to the 4% level, which is a very important horizontal support level for this chart. And then this coincided with the dump all the way down to around $74,500. Now we are coming back down, which is ultimately very bullish for Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto industry. I hope that we could continue to break below this level, but ultimately if we make it back down to 4%, 1%, it would mark a local top in my opinion. And this could still be marking a local top so long as the monthly candle closes back within this range and we start bouncing from here. I'm not rooting for this. I hope that we keep on breaking below here, but I just want to see how this plays out on the longer time frames. Now let's take a look at the liquidity here because this was very interesting. As I said in yesterday's video, a lot of people were starting to try to short this market. Then we went down and we pumped up into Monday's high as I just showed you, and we grabbed most of that liquidity to the upside. Now you can see that a lot of people did just short as I did, but I will be exiting my position relatively quickly. That being said though, there is also a lot of liquidity to the downside, and I do think that we will be grabbing this liquidity. And if we quickly go over this liquidity chart once again, I just want to show you that there is still about 4x more longs in the market than shorts. Cumulative short liquidation leverage, just under $6 billion, and then cumulative long liquidation leverage, just around $20 billion. Less than 4 times, but we can see that if Bitcoin were to correct down to these regions, it would wreck a lot of people that have been longing for an extended period of time. And if Bitcoin climbs up to above $120,000, there's just about $6 billion of cumulative short liquidation leverage. As I've said time and time again, you shouldn't be using this chart to predict short-term price movements. However, it can tell you where the trend is and that we will be likely having some kind of correction. Now, back to the Bitcoin chart, this became a massive wick, and I'm actually glad I entered a short here. Very quick short, but you can see that it's now sitting at around $8,500 in profit as I'm recording this video. I will likely close it soon because this doesn't tell me necessarily that we will just immediately crash. I have just been playing this range, and hitting the Monday high was more than a likely scenario in my opinion. Outside of continuing to try holding 109.5K as support, which would be the best case scenario for the bulls, the next level would be around 106.2K. As I discussed in yesterday's video, that is the most important daily close level because we were never able to close above it before, and now we are able to close above it. Keep on holding this level and Bitcoin will likely move much, much higher. But in the short term, I still think that it is possible that at the very least we go ahead and tag this level. At the very least though, I do think our degenerate gambler will be liquidated right around 108.5K. He actually added to this balance now. And let's take a look at his total P&L. Right now, his all-time P&L is around $13 million. Pretty damn good if he were to leave right now, but he keeps on adding to his positions. In the past 7 days, he has lost $32 million. I'll make sure to keep you updated on his next movements, but ultimately I do think that this guy will continue to end up getting wrecked, and I just hope that he can still walk away with some millions after round tripping almost $100 million. And that sums up today's quick market update. Trump media announced their plans to buy $2.5 billion worth of Bitcoin for their reserve. Bitcoin got a nice pump to the Monday highs, and now we are moving a little bit lower. If we can hold 109.5K as support, all is good. But the next level that I would be looking at would be 106.2K if we continue to get closes below the previous all-time high. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.